Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy and Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 10/30, 2024. Here we are once again. Here we are once more, and we're inching ever so close to the end of that year. I'm just saying, it's getting ever so nearer. We only have a few books, thank God, but those books that are coming out are really anticipated by me. These are some great reads. I truly believe that nearly everything that's on this list is something that I not only look forward to every month, but this is probably some of the best reads that, in a consistent level, have been out in quite a long time. Well, definitely a month. Just saying. However, prior in which that I do want to go ahead and read out this list to you, I do want to go ahead and acknowledge those that decided to want to cruise in on the live. Las Cruces, dude, I greatly appreciate you. You most awesome, and don't ever change. Your socks, underwear, nothing. Jag, dude, you the man. Appreciate you being here. And seriously, you two are just making this ever so much fun. Those of which you cruise on the rewind, I appreciate you greatly too. Not to exclude you in any so way and any so whatsoever. I'm just stating that those of which cruise on the live make this ever so much fun. Just saying. Let's start out with talk about a DC book that I've been kind of enjoying. It's almost forensic, and that is Nice House by the Sea. It's a second volume version of the original version of the Nice House by the Lake, which in my opinion was a rather good storyline. It did get a rather, as I stated, forensic in the sense that it got a little thick on the storytelling of the characters themselves. And it's my opinion the reason why they did that is because the story in itself only reflects when it's that much heavier, when you have an understanding of the characters that are involved. Unfortunately, the story itself doesn't tie you into the characters, so they decided, in the sense of tying in, to give you a backstory on the characters in hopes that you'll go ahead and have some vested interest in the characters themselves, which give you some depth of the story, which would then tie you in. Does it work? Kind of. It's a different approach, and I understand how he's doing it in comparison to the conventional way of allowing you to go ahead and have a vested interest into the characters by allowing you to travel in their ways and on the story in itself. I get it. I understand it. It just comes across sterile and cold. It doesn't have a feeling in which that I really care for the characters because of this formula, if you want to call it, this style in which it is done. It doesn't add to the story, but at the same point, the only thing it removes is that personal feeling towards the characters. As a story in itself is a concept of itself, I really truly dig. That's why I've really been enjoying the read, because I understood what I was getting into, understanding this was nothing more than an extension of the first volume. So if you're in that kind of a read, if you understand what you're getting into, then it's actually rather enjoyable, especially being that it is falling in line with what I come to expect of the story itself. So that's why I've been looking forward to it, is because it is what I expect of it, and it hasn't made a miss. Moving out from The Nice House by the Sea, issue number 4 from DC, let's cruise over to Dynamite and talk about Sweet Candy Vigilante, issue number 5. Sweetie is, dude, I appreciate you being here. And better not. You the man, Rod. I appreciate you greatly. Sweetie Candy Vigilante is one of my most favored of all the consistent ongoing series that I've been reading, especially from Dynamite. What I really been enjoying about the storyline is it, in some regards, isn't all ages story, but definitely for the higher end of the preteen, the teen areas. However, that being stated, it's such, like I said, it's such an enjoyable read for me, because no matter what I am reading, it's a nice way to clean the palate. It's a nice way to go ahead and break free from something that's too heavy, too horish, too gorish, too, in the case of what I stated before, a Nice House by the Sea, forensic. It allows me to break up that monotony of those styles that it tends to be done by most, and read something that is truly unique and different. Sweetie Candy Vigilante is definitely one of those series that is different from anything else that I've read, and it truly is vital in my ongoing series reading, And without it, I think a lot of things would be rather stale and not nearly as sweet. So again, I highly recommend, if you're not already doing so, from Dynamite, Sweetie Candy Vigilante, which is this is the second volume, issue number 5, coming out tomorrow, 10/30, 2024. Let's move out from Dynamite and cruise over to Boom. They're going to give us, from Boom Studios, Uncanny Valley, issue number 6. I really, really enjoy this series. I was truly concerned that it might have been snipped just a little short of what it originally concept of the series was supposed to be, which was a 12-issue series. I do know that it's down to, I believe, 10 issues. I really am glad that that's all they cut out of it. The story can be told easily in those issues. I was truly concerned that it might be killed at issue 6, and that all stated, and I know it's been ongoing. Let's start over by saying Uncanny Valley is probably one of the most unique also stories that's out there in its own way. It's a story of a kid finding out that he's a half-breed, half human, half cartoon, and that the cartoon individuals are after him, well, mostly because they need to utilize him to go ahead and complete some type of, I don't know, like some type. They're trying to do a ritual, and I'm not clear what the ritual is supposed to do. I don't know if it's supposed to preserve the cartoon land or put the cartoon land into the real world, or I don't really understand. What I really am understanding is that this poor kid is in great danger. His mom's trying to help him. His grandfather is trying to help him. I've yet to see his dad. I really don't know what's going on as much as I do know what's going on, which is they're trying to take this kid out, utilize his blood to make something happen, and that's what I'm dying to find out. Well, not literally, but you understand what I'm getting at with Uncanny Valley issue number 6. I am so looking forward to getting into this. Tony Fleeks is one of my most favorite writers, and it has been for ever since I've really discovered his writing and Stray Dogs, and I just can't get enough. So Uncanny Valley issue number 6 was my almost anticipated read. Wow, there's a bunch of people that jumped in here. Let me take a moment and say, Christina, I appreciate you coming on in and dance with me. Cap, oh hey, appreciate you being here, buddy. Hope all is well with you and yours. And look who else says ahoy. All right, moving out from that, Uncanny Valley by Boom Studios, issue number 6, coming out 10/30/2024. Let's cruise over to Marvel. Marvel Land is going to give us some Amazing Spider-Man issue number 60, which is the last contribution from Zeb Wells in his long run that he's been doing for the past, I want to say, 3 years now. It's been an interesting run. I've been enjoying it. It's been rather consistent, especially when you compare it to the past couple of runs that we've had before. And I believe, from what I recall Zeb telling me, he's been able to essentially complete what he was setting out to do in and up to this point. He is setting up, as we see right here, what is supposed to be taken on to a new baton by another writer, who in turn will hand that baton off, I believe, after 3 issues of writing. So 61, 2, and 3, I believe, will be written by one individual. 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, I believe, will be written by another individual, and then possibly ongoing from there. However that's stated, this sets up the last issue from here and sets up the 8 deaths of Spider-Man, which again will be in the next 8 issues. In my, again, opinion, Zeb has done a rather decent job in this run of Spider-Man, and I've been enjoying it. I like the contributions he's not only been able to do, but how the story has been able to explain a lot of the stuff that was in past volumes. I think he's done a rather good job, and I'm looking forward to not only how this finishes out, but I also looking forward to seeing what comes out after. So not only number 60 is one of my most anticipated reads, but I'm also looking forward to what comes after, especially the next 8. Moving on from that, let's go ahead and talk about Chasm, Curse of Cain, issue number 3. Between this and I can't even remember the other issue. I believe it's another Spider-Man issue. What we're going to get is truly the outcome of, I think it's actually a Venom War issue. It's truly the outcome of how Ben Reilly is going to now grapple with his new positioning in the Marvel Universe. He's now seen where he resides, coming to terms with who he is, and where he believes he can now contribute as she's redefining his own identity. I really been enjoying this, and I wasn't quite certain how this was going to turn out, but halfway through it, I've been only up to issue 2, but I really been anticipating this read because halfway through it, as it stands almost, it really is giving me a new view, not only in this character, but also his relationship with the Marvel Universe and his relationship with Hallows Eve. And in my opinion, how I not only believe they're going to work together, but how the couple will be together in the Marvel Universe and how they will be looked upon as individuals within the Marvel Universe. So that's why, again, Chasm Curse of Cain, issue number 3, is pretty high up there for me. Let's move out from that issue and cruise over to Venom War Zombie. It's issue number 3. This has been one of the more, how should I say, enjoyable for its own right issues. There's 2 issues that I've been really enjoying. Zombiettes has been one because of we get a new introduction of something that is just eating brains along with something that likes to eat brains, and the combination is very brainy and insane. I really been digging how this has been coming out, but I do know that overall what this is supposed to be is just complicating the overall result of what's been culminating in this ongoing, not only in this series that's been happening with who's going to end up getting Venom. I mean, we have Brock, we have his son Dylan, we have other players are now mentioned. We already know that one's going to be unlimited. If you've been following anything or you know what's happening coming this January, February, we already know one of the individuals that was supposed to be considered, Luke Cage, is no longer being considered because they're going to end up being a new character down the road. So what we have is essentially 4 individuals that are kind of vying who's going to end up being the new Venom, which we end up getting a new Venom issue coming out at the end of this year, I believe it is. Point being, the series have been awesome, and this Zombiettes is in particular been something rather unique because it stands out and stands alone within this storytelling. And I've been digging it. I'm just saying. So I am not only looking forward to issue number 3, but I'm looking forward to the result of this, not trying to rush through the series, but I am looking forward to see who's going to end up with Venom. Seriously, who's going to end up with Venom? Anyways, moving out from the Marvel, let's cruise over to Image, and Image is going to go ahead and finish this off with starting off with 4 book. Starting off with 1 book, and they're going to end up giving us 4. Starting off with that 1 is Red Coat issue number 7. This is the end of an arc, and it's giving us a good insight to what this originally, I believe, the overall goal was for this series to be. It started off giving us an individual that has no right to be able to have the immortal powers in which that this individual wields. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong person, ends up turning out to be, well, for the right reasons, inevitably, because we're going to end up seeing someone that's coming to terms with who and how they are for as long as they've been. We knew this was coming, and it turns out to be a rather slightly introspective understanding of the individual that will lead into the next arc. I really been enjoying this series because as it stands with the whole Geiger universe and the Ghost Machine and all this, this one is of the original series, the whole Geiger series, and directly ties in, but loosely at this point. It does tie in down the road as a timeline, but we yet to see it. We're still getting some in-depth understanding of what this character is, who this character is, and the faults, and later learning as we get to this issue number 7, understandings who they need to be, who they truly are, and I think who in denial, like we most do, tell ourselves who we are and aren't. So now that he's coming to terms, Redcoat, with who he truly is, we're going to see after issue number 7, I think a totally different, reborn individual that is going to make an interesting contribution to this Ghost Machine universe. Moving out from Ghost Machine universe talk, Redcoat issue number 7. And let's cruise over to the Nightclub issue number 3, which is a second volume of a series that I'm not really hearing enough people talk about. After we got the results from Big Game and we see that these guys weren't wiped out. They still want to make a huge contribution into this world as vampiric heroes. So we're seeing not only them grappling with being vampires and grappling with the fact that they're trying to be heroes, but the fact that they're kids and they're trying to make their way into this world that doesn't really understand who they are. They don't quite understand where they reside in the sense of who they are in this world. And at the same point, there are other individuals out there to go ahead and take them out, especially when we start getting an understanding of others, vampires, are starting to learn of their goal, their overall objective. And I don't think that the overall objective of the vampiric world is in line with this kids. So again, Nightclub issue number 3, which has been a really good story for me, is coming out to you 10/30/2024. Let's cruise out from that one and let's talk about It Happened on High Street, which is a Devour one shot. This is told by an individual whose first writing contribution to the Ghost Machine universe is here. She ends up doing a nice contribution that I end up meeting this individual some time ago when the Geiger releases of volume 2. There's individuals there, and I'm looking forward to not only getting into the series, but end up meeting. I'm going to have great difficulties pronouncing this, but Metal Jut. Tomorrow at a signing event along with Jeff Johns, Rodney Barnes, and David Boer. I also had the opportunity to possibly get some of these things slabbed, so that issue number 20, that 1 in 25 might get slabbed, along with possibly one of these 1 in 10s. I haven't quite decided, but I'm definitely going to jump into reading one of these things rather soon because they were definitely high on my reading list, reading what little tidbits I could. As a teaser from an ash can that I end up seeing some time ago, I am dying to get into this book. However, not before the one that I've been really anticipating, which is, well, Feral, issue number 7. Again, Tony has just been doing some marvelous work in his writing, and his contribution on his own writing is definitely heartfelt. When he starts doing his own stuff, and it's truly stuff that is a passion project of his own and the ones that he's working with, it comes across as such. Issue number 6 was, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe where they were going. And issue number 7, well, I'm just dying to get into. If you're not reading Feral already, I highly recommend it. It's really early on in the game. It's an ongoing series by Tony Fleets. It is one that if you are enjoying anything remotely close to something like a Walking Dead, and you compare that to type of a reading style of the palette and the imagery of like a Disney-esque style Aristocats, then that's really what you're getting here. And the storytelling is very gripping. It's very clenching as far as to the heart. You're at many a times turning the page just in horror because you know that every turn something can be taken out these individuals, and we see that none of these characters are not without a possibility of being eliminated at every possible turn. I really been enjoying this series and I can't get enough, and that's why it is my most anticipated read. As you see, my Blue Light Special is not only one that I thoroughly been enjoying, but is one that I've been enjoying the writing styles from an individual for years now, and I can't get enough. If you're not reading Feral, I highly recommend it, and you can't, just go to the shop and look past it. Now that I gave you my Blue Light Special, I only recommend you take a moment and check it out, especially in a horror time such as Halloween. It's no better book to snuggle up with. Just saying. You guys are most awesome, and I appreciate you being here. Cap, Christina, Las Cruces, Rod, and if there's anyone else I missed, like a Jag, you guys are most awesome, and I appreciate you. Those are the Cruise On and the Rewind. I appreciate you also, too, and I hope you get the books from Wissa you're looking for on that 10/30/2024. And that's it for me, Entropy. You guys stay well. Until next time.